One thing that I have loved the understanding of speaking life loud, the affirmation of it, the confirmation of it, the presence. I've never felt so alive in my life. And at first, they used to scare me, and I used to think that I didn't want to tell my story, but it was really I didn't want to get used to hearing my voice out loud. Like the things I could say, the things I could heal. And then even when you put your hand right here, like when you put your hand right here and you're talking like a phone, like when we're kids and stuff like that, right? Your voice amplifies. So you can do it this way and have it, as I'm understanding, the right side being your masculine side. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. The left side being the feminine side. So I could always talk to myself in a duality way with my understanding. And then if there's something that I feel like I am fixing that is a father wound that's not being understood by my mother wound, then I could always crisscross it and understand that the same thing's happening, but we have choice and will even with every move that we make. So even when you speak life loud, no matter what happens, you can always program and reprogram yourself to understand where you're going. Like direction is not an issue. And healing, because it's in the second instead of in the minute or the hour or even the day of the year. So although I am 12,913 days old, if I really wanted to, I could count the seconds too. And maybe one day I will again, when I feel like my mental is questioning itself, that I can't do this, or not even that I can't do this, that I want to do this. Some things I want to do as a resume thing, and some days, some things I don't care to do as a me thing. And that's hard to say. But when I'm able to vocalize, hear myself, sometimes repeat myself, it's not a sounding board that I need from life or people or the existence of others. It's more so just the environment. Like, just existing. No matter if it's light or dark. The existence is the calling, but the resistance is the goal. If I said that right. So I'll go backwards because I don't know if I said that right. The resistance is the goal, and I am going to trust that I said that right the first time. And it's getting dark, and I don't want to turn on the light. It's too bright right now. I'm vibing. Can't you tell? Can't you tell? I know you can tell. It's 4:20. Yes. I'm telling you, I know you could tell. But yeah. if I I feel like the most amazing thing about um any type of content creator type of position is how I see it. The liberation of slowing down time. The understanding that time is time and Shanice is Shanice, and we just have something together. It's a chef kiss type of thing that can't be explained. So right now I'm just living till I get the understanding, and then when I get the understanding, I'll be understood, you know? But yeah. I just be loving my legs and my knees. Sometimes I don't know if I'm saying what I want to say because I want to say it. I know that I have strong emotions and I know that I have a great passion for the understanding of what I want to say and what I want to come out and what I want to, if the word is correct, convey. I know what I want to do with those things, right? But I'm understanding those things as patterns. They're not my reality. They are something I know. There are an archive of some sort, and if I can not so much label them, but compartmentalize them, like on the feelings wheel, shocked and surprised are on the same um, color spectrum. I don't know if I would have always identified them as the same thing, but I get it. But shocked, mm, seem shocked seems more on the what is that? What was perceived as negative, and what is that? Surprise seems more on the positive side of the spectrum. But then I still understand that everything is a spectrum. Like the absence of cats doesn't automatically mean dogs. But when I was younger, it was automatic. It was necessary. It was an understanding that was understood, you know? When they say opposites attract, it's I feel like it's when they're in motion. Opposites attract when they're in motion. But if they're just still, they're just opposites. And I don't know if you guys saw how ashy my leg was when I hugged it. I just wanted to let y'all know. Because I didn't know. And not that I care. I know Alua Arthur says, don't be ashy a day in your life. But sometimes my skin sounds different when I'm ashy. And I don't be ashy for a long time. But I don't be moisturized for a long time either. I feel like that's a good balance. I don't know. It's like the things I use. Like when they say the things that you hate become the things that you love. Or the things that, like something about, like it's a invertness of it. Yeah. This life is so cool. This life is so cool. Like, to understand that I started a spiritual journey. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys in. Well, I don't know. I'm still new to all of this content creator and telling my story, life, existence. What is that? Transcripts. But when I was 14 years old, in August, is it August? It's not August. My mother was no cry July. I'm telling you, when I was 14, and the summer of when I was 14 in August, my mother was shot 3 times. One in the back, one in the like neck area, and then one in the jaw that hit her spinal cord in a C4 um, shatter. So she was paralyzed from the shoulders down. She had some movement of her arms, but not too much control of her fingers. And I was her caretaker, although I was 14. I loved, like, I'm still learning I swear I love how the universe loves me. I'm still learning my shadow self. So it's all, I'm allowing myself to explain itself to me and not me make up a story, but like as of right now, just living my story. And so, yes. Um, Rawr! Hey, beautiful. Get your steps in. Their hair is so beautiful. Lawrence. Lawrence. Macy, your hair is so beautiful. She like one of those baby dolls.
That's call me.
I said, hey.
Okay.
Like, I just be living a life that people just love me. Just love me. Just love me and love on me. And these is not even all of the people that be loving me. These is just some of the people that love me. And I get to be unconditional love that spills over and recognizes the other unconditional love. And as I spill, I refill. And as I refill, I spill. It's a cycle. The shit is the fertilizer. The fertilizer is the shit. One thing my PTSD has taught me. Okay, I got out track. So, I was 14. My mother was paralyzed from the shoulders down. And I used to, as I was taking care of her, I learned now is empathy. If I'm saying that correct again, leave it in the comments. But I wanted to talk to her in a way that wasn't degrading. And how I taught myself that is when I would go to sleep at night, I would put myself in a paralyzed position. I wouldn't move my body. Anything that she couldn't move, I wouldn't move. And at that point, it was not that much that she could move. When everything first happened, it wasn't like I thought that she was ever gonna be able to hug me. And to me, that was the important thing. Me and my mom had a relationship of hugs with our shared trauma whenever we would just be swelled up with emotions and we couldn't talk about it, or we just needed something more, we would hug. It would it would be unlimited time, no matter the tears, no matter what happened. We wouldn't ask any questions. It would just be a hug. And besides the hug, me and my mom relationship was pretty traumatic, but I do understand that we were learning together at the same time, the same moments. There were things that I was brave enough to do that she wouldn't do, and she didn't think it was brave to do. She was so locked in her existence that I knew the hugs had to be something different, but I was still upset that I didn't get them. So when I went to sleep, no matter if I had to use the bathroom, if I got hungry, at that point she was depending on everybody to do everything for her. There was nothing that she didn't do for herself. That was before she got the Alexa, and she was able to talk to it to have it turn the game on and do different things, and she got her more of independence with those things. But eating and using the bathroom, all of that bodily function things that we just need were dependent on other people. And at that point, I was 14. I didn't really know what it felt like to depend on other people besides depending on my mom. So I wanted my speech to reflect that I understood what she was going through. And I didn't know that that was meditating. It wasn't until I started meditating that I understood that that was meditating. And then when I understood that that was meditating, and I understood like the magnitude of just how much I cared and how much she loved me and how much our relationship touched me, that allowed me to go back into my trauma, which is SA by my cousin. At the age, I was 8, and I believe he was like 16, 15. And I get, and her trauma was when she was much younger, I believe, and her father. And it allowed me to revisit all of those emotions and sift through what was, I guess, valuable or what wisdom I could take from it. And I didn't think that it was wisdom at the time. I just felt like in those hurtful moments, I can place angels all over the room, and I could feel safe in those moments again. And even if it wasn't again, I can put the seed in myself that I'm safe in this moment. It might feel really scary, but I have angels all over this thing. You know what I mean? Like how they say, at your command, God will send legions of angels, and one day is like a second to Him. If we're living in seconds and these are days to Him, then I'm understanding that I have so many seconds in a day, so I can acquire each second be packed with angels. Even so much that I get to the point where I think of slave ships when they were packed, how their shoulders touched, and I heal those wounds of being inflicted with any type of racism or colorism or hate, self-hate, or anything that could be looked at as those on that spectrum. I envision in dark moments when they say that the slaves walked through a tunnel and they sung to understand that they were with each other. That when I sing, I'm singing in those circles because the seconds are connected, not even the minutes or hours, the seconds. And in this moment where I'm speaking, I am, yes, 20 minutes, yay. In this moment when I am speaking, I'm speaking to all of me's, all 12,999 and 13 days of me that break down to the seconds of me, that breaks down to the milliseconds of me. No matter what my mouth says, my ears hear in this second. And even if it took it back to other seconds, it's still something that I said in that second. So I congratulate my days. I love my minutes. I hug my hours. My years are so lived in, they're worn. I love the ownership that God gives me when He claims me as His child. I don't have to think of a body. The mind is enough. And to think that God thought of me, and then I just get to think. I get to be in a body and express in every way how God blesses me every day, every second. And if nothing else, all the seconds that compile into my life at the end of the day, even though I know I said some vile things, were to get to the moment where I understood the power of my voice and how I sound, I praise Him, and how there's no limit to the understanding of how I praise Him, because I praise Him in life. And just in life, just be living this life where I'm loved and get loved on, and can be a 35-year-old college, a 35-year young college student, freshman at that, living my best life. And knowing that even in 10 years from now, or 10 years ago, I was living my best life. I was living the only life I had at that second. Just thriving. Coming to meet me today, so we can go on and meet our tomorrows and our next years and our next centuries and our decades. Even if we don't make it that far, we've made it that far. Like, I know my existence is with God. I know my existence is with the universe. I know my existence is with nature. I am naturally a person. I be pooping, y'all. I be pooping. I feel like I used to didn't talk like this because I didn't understand, that I wanted to talk like this. It wasn't even being weird. It's just I can speak in a tone that's unrelated to the stress that I feel, that's unrelated to the hesitance that I feel, that's unrelated to the anxiety that I feel when I speak, but I can know it. But I don't have to cry about it. I don't have to lie to people and tell them that I'm not okay, or that I am okay. Outside of God's child, I know that I'm Darlene for Love's child. I know that I am the universe's child. I know that I am nature's child. I know the moon and the sun visit me almost daily, depending on if the clouds are like being invasive. I know that I am Brandon's wife. I know that I am Lauren and BJ's mother. I know that I am an artist. I am 5. I'm like 5'3", depending on the shoes that I wear. Now, if I'm not wearing those shoes, no, I'm like 5'4", depending on the shoes that I wear. Now, if I don't wear shoes, like if it's just like bare feet, then I'm like upwards on the 5'3". But in reality and imagination, I'm like a solid 6'3". You can quote me. Yeah. In 2018, when my mother passed, when she graduated, I feel like I heard myself cry, like I heard myself let out a big yell, because I mean, the moment felt so unreal. If like right before, like it was just like a party type of thing. Like, yeah, we were in the hospital, and yeah, we knew that they had took off life support. And it's not that I didn't believe it, but I also know a God, and not that this God doesn't know. And not that this God, and not that this God doesn't know the spectrum, and not that this God doesn't know and not that this God doesn't know the spectrum of life, but understand that I didn't want to be in mine at that point. So imagining my mother getting to leave hers was just like unfathomable. Like, I knew I loved myself in 2018. I had just found happiness in myself. I made a bet with myself, and I knew that I could be happy. I had just turned 28. No, that was in November. I had just turned 29. But and when I turned 28, okay, 27 is when I made the bet, and 28 is when I knew it was finalized. I could be happy in my body, myself, my soul. This thing that I carry around could be happy without anybody else, without my family, without my siblings. I could be happy. I turned 29, and I couldn't face having happy and not having my mom, or realizing that I would go into a day, let alone like my 30s. Like in my mind, it didn't register. So right before I'm talking to the nurse and everything, it's just like we're laughing and stuff like that. Like, we know what's happening. Like, the whole weekend has been up and down emotions. And I asked the nurse, can I listen to her heartbeat, because again, I know what's happening. And as the nurse is listening for herself, you can tell her face change. Like, my mom's best friend is in the room, my little brother's in the room, and you can just tell her face change. And 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 she tells us that she's gone. And I feel like it hit me, like, why would you ask that? And then me and my mom had, like, when it came to educational stuff, she used to always tell me, like, I didn't know it was educational stuff, but it turned out to be, right? When, like, I asked her something, and she was like, I don't answer stupid questions. And from that, and also like the trauma stuff that we couldn't talk about because of, timing, right? The seconds. And so to me, everything had to be crafted, all the words, all the meanings, all the understanding. It was not so much manipulation but clarity, and learning that you can find clarity in multiples in all words. It's just even how you fashion them, how you apply them. Was, yes, exhausting to me. I feel like that was the exhausting part. So when the nurse told me and it hit me, it was like, damn, that was a stupid question. But I really didn't like think about that till just now. But it felt like my whole existence went into three. Like I heard myself yell, but then a part of like it was one of me like kneeling down, like I'm looking down at myself and they're holding my hand and they're consoling me. And then it was one on my shoulder. It was a me on my shoulder and they were consoling me also. And in this moment, my yell didn't feel worldly. It felt like I could just make myself stop yelling. So I did. And then my mom, they said that people, whoever could come, family, friends, could come until 9 o'clock that night and view her body if they would like to. And my mom didn't like by any means possible, right? If she had hair on her chin, like in my brain, that was one of the big things. The hair on her chin and her hair. So I asked the nurse, can she give me like care things so that I can do those things? And she did. And I shaved my mom. At this point, my little brother was walking home in the rain. I remember that. And then I still feel like it was so beautiful. Like just the expression of understanding the moment. He's always been a very sentimental being. So it always stuck to me. So I shaved my mom. I positioned her in a way that was presentable to the best of my ability. And her best friend stayed there if anybody was coming. And one of her little sisters asked me to bring her there because she didn't have a way there. And I did. And when we got back, I believe we were the only people there. Her best friend was in a waiting room. And her little sister visited with her. And then they went home. And then I took her home. Yeah. It is such a luxury to have the privilege to get to know myself, to get to hear myself and express myself. It is such a beautiful experience in this life of mine in 2024. No Cry July on the 27th. Take note because I'm that girl. It is an accommodating day, meaning that I am accommodating my emotions, my feelings, my understanding towards myself and my environment. We just friends to the best of my knowledge today. On accommodating days, we are just friends. It is Saturday, so it is a crown day, and it is attached to the scripture. Now faith is assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. So in this summer day, I am living my best life, letting it be resonant to the rest of my life, to all of my life. I am living my best life. This existence is only happening once, has only happened once. Best life. Bringing every solitude together. best evolved, structured, best, no, we can't do that. Better evolved structure, brazen evolved structure, tether. Brazen evolved structuring tether. That's what I'm doing in the seconds. I am allowing myself to pick up a book and read it. I am allowing myself to pick up a book and read it. I am giving myself grace. I am knowing myself. I am hearing myself. I am hearing myself. The same voice that thought 14, the same voice that approved 14 levels of self-harm loves its life. It's fighting for its life. It's speaking for its life. It's knowing its life. That same voice that thought it was going to take its life is bringing it back to life. That same voice. When you realize you tried to take your voice and now you got to make your voice presentable to your ears despite the story you tell, you can't cry through everything. Sometimes it just has to be art. It just has to be a meditation. It just has to be meditation. It just has to be a workout. I find when I go through trauma, when I go through myself and I speak to my inner child, the same way me and my mom hug, we hug. And sometimes it's tight hugs. And these things we don't have words for, but we have expression. So we celebrate in expression. And sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it is a Roman 8:26. This has been a beautiful experience with the amazing, gorgeous, talented, honorable, decorated, elegant Shanice Hamilton. I feel like this is season 2 of Speak. I feel like this is season 2 of Loving Myself Out of the Dark. Thank you for coming back with me.